The following is a presentation of the Spartan Media Network.
Now Spartans 2-on-1 into the zone. Shot. Goal! Another roof shot. 5-on-3 into the Spartan zone. What a save by Augustine. And now Michigan State back over the blue line. Ranked wide to pass. Out front. Goal!
It's time for the Adam Nightingale Show, powered by the IBEW NECA 665. Learn more at IBEWNECA665.org. The Adam Nightingale Show is also brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance, Simple Human Sense, the Munn Team, Jan and John Munn at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Tommy Raines Realtors, Realtors that get results, the MSU Federal Credit Union. Spartan fans dream big with MSU Federal Credit Union. Coors Light, Mountain Cold Refreshment, Choose Chill, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Raise hope and foster dreams. Start your journey to becoming a foster parent today at michigan.gov/hope for a home. The Adam Nightingale Show is also presented by One North Kitchen and Bar. Making good times great. Labatt. Crack some Labatt and see where it takes you. Meyer, the official grocer of Michigan State Athletics. Dean Trailways, the official ground transportation provider of Spartan Athletics. Make Dean Trailways your favorite ride. And by Shaheen Chevrolet, offering the largest inventory of new Chevys and pre-owned vehicles in Lansing. Buy, lease, trade in, or sell us your vehicle at ShaheenChevrolet.com. Relax and enjoy the Shaheen difference. Now, with head coach Adam Nightingale, here's Rob Woodward and the voice of Michigan State Spartan hockey, Scott Moore.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Adam Nightingale Show, presented by IBEW NECA 665. Coach Nightingale is here. Woody is too. And for the next 60 minutes, we'll talk about a big 5-point weekend in Minnesota and a whole lot more. Yeah, let's have some applause for that. A little bit later in the show, we'll be joined by Spartan Hockey Director of Player Personnel, Mike Porter, and we're going to learn some of the ins and outs of name, image, and likeness tonight. I know there's a lot of people that have questions about it, so we're going to cover as much as we can here this evening. And then later on in the show, Neil Koepke is going to pop up here, and we'll talk about the Hobie race and college hockey at the break. So come on over to One North Kitchen and Bar on West Saginaw. Join us for some dinner. And if you want to join the live audience for any of our coaches' shows, including the Tom Izzo Holiday Show on Wednesday, make your reservation by emailing Caleb at onenorthdining.com. Well, Coach, 5 points in 2 games on the road in Minneapolis against the, at the time, number 1 team in the nation. That's a pretty good outcome and a nice way to go into the holiday break.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, obviously a really good team and had been playing really good hockey. You know, they were a little bit banged up, but so are we. You know, and I think that it was good to see our guys respond. I mean, those were some challenging games to, you know, multiple times having to come back, and that's a good sign for our team. Is you got to be able to respond, especially in that type of environment. And we were proud of our guys, and a good way to finish off the first half.
A little banged up nights, and you know, both teams you talked about. Minnesota, they didn't even have a full lineup on Friday night. They did on Saturday night. But is it a fair statement, and maybe you can tell us how you felt about your team, because it seemed to Scott and I that you really kind of wore them down, especially in that third period on Saturday night. There was a shift in that, well, about 3 shifts in that third period where I swear we had puck possession down in their zone for about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I think that was, you know, you look at the second night, I thought even the second period, we thought we played pretty good hockey, and we ended up, you know, being down and, you know, a couple of bad changes, and all of a sudden the puck's in the back of the net. But it's a little bit of the product of how we want to try to play. And for sure they were shorthanded, but I also think that can work to your advantage if you're them, right? They had some really good players that maybe were on the ice a little bit more. But it's you know, that's good for our guys. Again, another one of the games for our guys to keep in their back pocket and know that we can wear teams down and we can come back.
I want to ask you about somebody that didn't show up on the stat sheet very much, because there's a lot of guys we can talk about that played extremely well this weekend. But one of the new guys, Nick Andrews, I thought played pretty well, and he really has this whole first half of the season. I think he had 5 blocks over the weekend. I thought he was pretty good on some odd man rushes, good sticks in the passing lanes. Talk about what he brings to your team.
Yeah, I mean,
in particular this week.
Yeah, no, we're thankful we have him. I mean, he's obviously his 5th year of college hockey and came to us from Colorado College, and I think for Nick a chance to come play in the Big Ten and then play at Michigan State, that was appealing to him, and he makes our team better for sure, and he's got the offensive side where he can play simple offensively, but defensively he really has a good feel for the game, and we're young back there, so having a guy that has that veteran presence is big time.
And he plays, it just feels like a calm game.
Big time. Yep. No, and I think that trickles down in our team, and you look how much Nick plays. I mean, he's out there, if you do the percentages, about a third of the game, so we need him to be good and also help the rest of our back end grow.
And talk about calm game. We have to mention him because he played absolutely incredible all weekend. Particularly on Friday night was Trey Augustine. And I'll tell you what, to see him after the game, I think the student section, by the way, if you couldn't hear it through the radio or the TV, they were yelling Civ to Trey Augustine when he let in a goal. And so when we got that win in the shootout, I believe it was, right? And he went behind the net and kind of pounded the glass a little bit in front of the student section. That's about as much emotion as I've seen out of Trey Augustine. Yeah. But it was absolutely fantastic knowing him and seeing him do that.
No doubt. I mean, we love that about Trey, right? He's he kind of really does embody what it means to be a Spartan. He's a team guy. He's low maintenance. I mean, I don't think he got his skate sharpened one time last year, maybe once, for a goaltender. And he had a heck of a weekend, and obviously we're excited about him now. Trying to go win another gold medal with USA at the World Junior Championship.
Has anybody done it? I mean, if he makes the team, right? This will be the 3rd time.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of people that go to that tournament 3 times.
Not a ton. I mean, Max is going on as technically 5th because they had that one cancel, but he's 4th. But for the U.S. team, no, especially at that position. I mean, I think there's been a handful of guys that have done it, and he's got to be great for them. You look at their team; they got a really good team, but he's going to have to be their best player.
Yeah.
Well, with the great weekend, the Spartans vaulted back into first place in the College Hockey Online National Poll earlier today. 31 out of 50 first place votes. Congratulations on that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and applaud that. I know you don't put a whole lot of importance, certainly less than the rest of us might do on the rankings, but still, that's kind of nice to be 3 out of 4 weeks in first place in the nation.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, look around the room and the people that have supported our program, everyone should feel proud and a part of it. And, I think for our group, we got to keep getting better, and so certainly nice to get recognized, but, we want to be the number 1 team at the end of the season. That's the goal. And so still got a lot of work to do, but, again, I'm thankful for the support we have, the people in this room, and, I mean, that is pretty special.
It is kind of special indeed. Rob will be out in the audience with the wireless microphone, so get your hands up if you have questions for Coach. We will be back with more MSU hockey on the Adam Nightingale Show, powered by IBEW NICA 665, right after this break on the Spartan Media Network.
Do you need an electric vehicle charger installed? Whether for a home, business, school, or more, IBEW NICA 665 contractors are the experts in EV charging installations. Our electricians aren't just licensed. We have advanced training and certification through the Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Training Program, or EVITP. The EVITP gives us the most comprehensive training available, which means we install EV chargers to the highest standards of quality and safety. Visit IBEWNECA665.org to find a contractor for your next project.
Sometimes we're asked if you need to be a Spartan to be a member of Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. The answer is no. To be an MSU FCU member, you just need 3 things. 1, you love saving money and earning cash back. 2, you have a passion for supporting your community, just like we do. 3, when it comes to your future, you prefer to dream big. If this sounds like you, visit msufcu.org to get started. Of course, if you want to cheer on MSU, we're totally on board with that too. Go green.
Farm Bureau Insurance invites you inside the green for an exclusive dinner with football coach Jonathan Smith. This unique experience includes a private dinner for one winner and 3 guests with Coach Smith. The winner also receives a private tour of Spartan Stadium, an autographed football from Coach, tickets to a future home game, and more. For more details and to register, visit InsideTheGreenSweeps.com. Farm Bureau Insurance, proud sponsor of Michigan State Athletics.
When you're a foster parent, you play a lot of roles.
Provider, giving a foster child a safe home, healthy meals, and hope.
You're always there.
You're a cheerleader.
Your family. You would do anything for a child in your care.
Every day is different. Every need is different. But one of the most impactful roles you can play in life is being a foster parent. See why at michigan.gov/hope for a home. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Back live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back for more of the Coach Adam Nightingale Show, powered by IBEW NICA 665. Raise hope and foster dreams by starting your journey to becoming a foster parent today. Visit michigan.gov/hope for a home to learn more on how you can support children of all ages in your community. Well, as mentioned, Rob is out in the audience with his microphone, and we will start where we always do. Mr. Bria, how are you tonight?
I'm doing real good, Mr. Moore. Yourself?
After last weekend, I'm doing great.
Awesome weekend. I suppose that guy next to you is kind of happy, too.
And he had more to do with it than I did, certainly.
Adam, leading up to the series against Minnesota, and usually after each game, you mentioned how tough it is to win in their building. Saturday was MSU's first win outright since 2020. What are some of the things that make it so tough to win when you're there?
Well, you're right. I mean, there's a lot. Most teams struggle going in there, so you got to know that going. I think for years it was one thing for sure was the big sheet, right? So that's been eliminated, right? So it's more what guys are used to playing on, but they're talented, they're well coached, and I just think the crowd it is a really good crowd. It's 11,000 people, and they're on top of you. And I think that rink was built before some of the restrictions on how steep stands could be. So they literally are right on top of you. It's almost like when I worked in the NHL, Montreal's rink's pretty similar, where it's really, really steep, and it's a smart fan base. So they get into a good rush play, and it can make you feel at times like you're under siege. Not that we weren't at times, but I think that's for our guys to understand that's just noise. I mean, you got to focus on the next play, and I thought our guys did a good job of it. But it's no secret why teams struggle going in there. It's a tough place to play, and that's our guys again should be put that in the memory of a couple big wins for us.
You bet it. You bet they were. Bird, what's up?
Hey Scott, how you doing?
Good.
Good job, Coach. The
Thanks,
look
Bird.
on their faces on Saturday when you tied that game up on Minnesota's faces was worth $1 million, really.
Thanks, Bird.
Hey, I was wondering if you could comment on that no goal where it popped up onto the net. Our guy flipped it.
Yeah.
And, the ref called it a goal. Then they said it wasn't a goal. Then they couldn't review it.
That was the first, Bird. I hadn't seen that before. So a little bit of history with it, right? They changed the rule. So before the rule was the crossbar was a high sticking. So that would have been blown dead right off the bat, because it's obviously Tommy's got to grab that puck off the top of but they've changed it to your shoulder height. So, that was below his shoulder. So that's why they called it a goal. And I think and talking to the refs after, it's not a challengeable play. So they called it a goal. They came together. They felt like the puck had rested on top of the net. And at that point it's a dead play, and it'll be interesting. I think they'll have to actually change the wording in the rule book because of that play, because we couldn't challenge it. We couldn't say, hey, go look at it and see if the puck actually stopped. So they kind of had to call it like they saw it. Now, originally they said it was a goal, so I would have loved them to keep with what they saw, but that didn't happen.
Knights, one question regarding that play. So the dead puck is not challengeable Is a high stick challengeable? That was the question.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So if it was a high stick, you could have challenged that.
Yeah,
but that's what they called. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And the high stick, not that you wouldn't challenge it, but those ones are really hard. You don't see those overturned much because it's hard to get a camera angle that's right at that level.
I did ask Tommy after the game, and he said he kind of grinned a little bit. He goes, "I think I kept it just under my shoulders."
It was more that the puck had stopped, or they said it stopped.
Read between that. All right. The dapper Alan Corey has a question.
Hey, Knights. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So noticing that for both games this weekend, we were wearing our normal home whites. And Minnesota was an alternate gray, I think, on Friday. Is that something do they come to just like McGee, the equipment manager, or do they come to the coaching staff, or how does that work?
No, they reached out to Tom and said, hey, we're wearing an alternate a black jersey. So if we would have wore a green, obviously it would have been tight. So he came to me, and then instead of packing the green and white, just wear the white jerseys.
Got another one in the audience.
Okay, I'm kind of hidden here. I can't stand up.
Yeah.
What is the schedule between now and the GLI? How much time do they have off? If they have off, when do they come back to get ready for GLI?
Yeah, I mean, they're off now. So I think we had 6 guys that we flew out to Minnesota. 6 guys stayed there, either they're from Minnesota or Wisconsin or family in the area, and we flew back. Then a bunch of guys flew out today, and then everyone will come back. We'll practice on Christmas Day around 6:00. So, I think for our guys a chance to get home, we've obviously had a tough first half as far as challenging on their bodies and a chance to get home. And then, it'll give us a good length of time to practice, get ready for the GLI.
Got another one off to the side here, Coach.
Well, this is a great segue because right after GLI, I think there's a home game with Wisconsin on Thursday, and then it's Wrigley Field on Saturday, I think, right?
Yep.
And I have to tell you, I'm so proud of Michigan State University because every time I watch an NHL outdoor game or a college game, it was Michigan State University that started that. And it's interesting that Neil Kepke is here tonight, right? Because he wrote a great history. There's a great article he wrote that explains how it started with an assistant coach, David McAuliffe. He can tell the story, right?
Yep.
But it's just a great story. And then for Michigan State to have the perseverance, because remember, September 11th happens, and that game is like 3 weeks later. And there were people that said, cancel the game. Oh, you can't do it. So with all of that in mind, and just once again, just great leadership by Michigan State, do you think we're going to see a 25th anniversary Spartan Stadium game maybe in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome. First, I totally agree with everything you said there. Obviously, for Dave McAuliffe to come up with the idea, and if you look at the pictures of when that game was played, obviously it was early October. The trees around Spartan Stadium were green, and there was no road map. It was, now they got it down to a science, and we'd love to, right? And I think that our fans would love it, and I think the timing of it, it was a little bit different. There was turf, I think, at the time, and so you'd have to do it later. It'd have to be in the winter because of the grass and football season and all that stuff. But definitely something we'd love to do, and I know Alan would support it.
Exactly. One more from the audience here, Dick.
Congratulations, Coach. Great
Thank you.
start. On that same question, it shows Wisconsin being the home team at Wrigley. That can't be, can it?
No, I think that might be a misprint. So we obviously already went to Wisconsin for 2. We got the home game on the Thursday, and then that will be the home team at Wrigley.
Any word on any kind of alternate jersey for that?
Just a regular. Yeah.
Yep,
Just a regular jerseys.
All right. Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support food rescue programs and the Simply Give initiative. You help provide a bright future for kids and support sustainability in our communities. Learn more at Meijer.com. We are live in Lansing with the head coach of the Spartans, Adam Nightingale. Our show is powered by IBEW NICA 665. We'll talk with Mike Porter after this break. You're listening to the Adam Nightingale Show.
when the forgotten poor are...
The U.S. is experiencing the worst blood shortage we've seen in 20 years. Give blood this season, and you can help save up to 3 lives each time. Join me and Abbott so we can save more lives together. Let's make Spartan Nation the #1 blood donor in the Big Ten.
The table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
The Shaheen Red Tag sale starts now
with 0% financing. Year-end incentives include $2,024 off Tahoes and Suburbans or $1,000 off Colorados.
Drive home a winter-ready 24 Silverado for $197 a month.
Or a 25 Equinox for $264 a month.
Get the stylish tracks for just $235 a month.
Jingle all the way to 632 American Road in Lansing or ShaheenChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Magnolia tree. Spark.
Back live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. We're live with more of the Adam Nightingale Show, powered by IBEW NICA 665. And we are joined now by the Spartans Director of Player Personnel, Mike Porter. Mike, thanks for coming out here on a Monday evening.
Thanks for having me, Scotty.
Okay. This actually originated with a comment my wife made. She said, NIL just is so confusing. You really ought to do something on the coaches show to just talk about what NIL is. So, you are the main contact point, or one of the main contact points with the hockey team as far as NIL goes. Can you explain how it started and how it came to be and all that?
Yeah. I think it's kind of been in the making for a while. It started in the late 2000s with Ed O'Bannon at UCLA, who thought that college players should get paid for having their image and their likeness on video games. And then that led to 2019, California passed the Fair Play Act. And that was saying that they could, student athletes could get paid for promotional opportunities. And then it just kind of snowballed. There were some lawsuits against the NCAA, and they said, going forward, it's up to the states, and student athletes can get paid for their name or their image or their likeness going forward.
Ports, are you going to get some retro pay for when you played here? Maybe old guys like me? Can we get some of that money?
I think we're out of luck, Woody.
I think there's a statute of limitations.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, Ports' background is he's a lawyer as well. So Ports, how has your job as a lawyer helped in your role here when it comes to dealing with nil and nil situations for the guys?
Well, first, we're fortunate to have a very forward-thinking coach, and Adam and I go back a lot of years, and he came to me a couple of years ago, and when this all kind of started, and I don't think there's a coach probably in college athletics that wants to deal with NIL. So he, like I said, I was fortunate enough. He came to me and said, we got to do this. We can't bury our heads in the sand. None of us like it, but we think with your background that you'd be a big help with this. And so I'm really lucky that Adam brought me back, and I have used my lawyer skills, I guess. The contracts come through for our guys, and I'm allowed to look at them. A lot of times I'll also have their agents look at them too, but I'm allowed to kind of review them. And kind of talk through the situation with each guys. And I do a lot of donor relations, and that's kind of primarily where this money comes from is through the donors. So I've used some of those skills to do that.
And are you coming up with ideas for the guys, you and the staff, or do guys mainly come to you with some ideas and say, hey, is this okay? Can I do this?
So I think when people think of NIL, they think of these big dollars that are kind of talked about in football and basketball. I kind of see NIL in two different ways. You have donors who are interested in donating to these players and giving them money directly. And then there's also businesses that want to have the boys involved in whatever it may be. They may have a sandwich shop and say, hey, come sign some autographs for a couple hours and we'll give you free sandwiches, or put a couple things on social media and we'll give you free car washes. So there's those kinds of opportunities. And then there's the other side where it's donors who want to support our players, make donations, and then are distributed through to our players.
I think too. I mean, it's you look at college athletics and how it's changed even in the 2 years I've been here, 2.5 years, and to have someone on staff. I mean, really, football and basketball really are at a different level than hockey, and obviously now it's starting to matriculate to hockey. And so for it to have someone on staff like Mike that can handle it's huge.
Mike, what is the current NIL situation with pertaining to the Spartan hockey team?
Yeah, so last year was the first year that we kind of participated with NIL. We gave a small amount to our 6 seniors and grad students, and then we grew the program through a lot of hard work, a lot of golf outings, right? Coach?
Oh yeah, all over the country. Yep.
A lot of schmoozing all over the country, and we were able to raise some money for our guys, and then that money was distributed through a organization called Charitable Gifts America, who's run by a former Spartan baseball player, Tom Dieters. And Tom kind of facilitates it. We have the money coming from the donors, and Tom facilitates it. And what we kind of liked about that is every player that on our team that received any money had to give 5% back to a charity of their choosing. So the players were allowed to pick a charity that they were passionate about and make that donation back. It's been a good fit for us so far.
I think that's a great addition. Do you know if any other schools have a situation kind of like that, a setup like that?
I know Charitable Gifts America works with other schools.
Okay.
I don't think they work with any other hockey programs as far as I know.
All right.
Knights, hockey is different, right? It's different, especially when it comes to basketball and football and the money that is involved. On the recruiting trail, have you run into players that have actively asked about NIL and kind of the what's in it for me type thing? A player like that probably you don't want coming to Michigan State, but I'm wondering how much you run into that on the recruiting.
We have. And I think it's, when we bring a kid in, right, we want to put our best foot forward and show them campus, make sure that they know we're going to help them be a good hockey player, show them the resources they have at the school. And, if that comes up, then, like we say to guys, like, if that's the decision or that's why you're making decisions, probably not a fit here. We're going to take care of you and do whatever we can within the rules. But just like our locker room, right? We're really proud of our locker room and thankful for the donors that funded that. But we don't want kids coming because we have a nice locker room, and you shouldn't make a decision based on, and I tell our guys that all the time too, is like, even when they leave playing here, right, and get a job someday, like don't make decisions based on money. Do something you're passionate about. And so we try to, and I think that helps us find the right kids. Again, not that we're not ready to support our student athletes, but we're not interested in spending money to try to get players.
We've got a lot more to talk about with NIL, and Mike's going to hang around for another segment. First, the electrical contractors of the IBEW NECA 665 provide the safest, highest quality electrical work at the best value to their customers. Learn more at IBEWNECA665.org. That's IBEWNECA665.org. We'll be back with more of the Adam Nightingale Show, powered by the IBEW NECA 665. After this break, you're on the Spartan Media Network.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Skill is a game changer. And when the doctors you know and trust team up with one of the nation's top health systems, the possibilities are endless. Sparrow is now University of Michigan Health Sparrow. So together, we can bring more specialized expertise, more of the latest treatments, and more of the best possible care closer to you. Discover what's possible at uofmhealthsparrow.org.
Hey Spartans, when it's game time, it's One North time. Just minutes from Michigan State University, One North Kitchen and Bar is your go-to spot for scratch cooking and world-class hospitality. When you're celebrating a win or catching up with friends, we've got the perfect dish to make every moment special. Join us for the MSU Coaches Shows and get closer to the action with the voices that bring Spartan spirit to life. Visit One North, where Spartan pride meets memorable meals.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go. Go!
Run, James!
No. First base!
Go, go, go!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Back live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Adam Nightingale Show, powered by IBEW NICA 665. Frankly, you'll want to join us for the Michigan Sports Brief every weekday on Spartan Media Network radio stations all across the state of Michigan. It's presented by Frankenmuth Insurance. Find your local independent agent online at FMINS.com. We're back with more with Mike Porter talking about NIL. And Mike, you just told me during the break you've got a special place in your heart for our sponsor.
I do, yeah. No, it's a special thanks to the IBEW. My dad was a IBEW Local 53 member for 30 plus years. So
it's awesome.
That's great. We've got a little tie in there. Mike, do donations to NIL through the collective or whatever, do they have to be large dollar amount donations?
No. So like I mentioned before, there's we go through Charitable Gifts America, but there's also a collective called Sparty Nation by Greg and Dawn Williams who've been super generous to Michigan State athletics, just outstanding people. So the answer to that is no. They take any amounts, and you can kind of dictate where you want them to go to. So if you want to go through Charitable Gifts America, if you want to go through Sparty Nation, you go on their websites, you make the donation, you indicate where you want it to go, and we'll be sure to get all those dollars. So no, $5, $10, $100, whatever. It all goes to our team, and it all helps.
And there is a balance between NIL donations and donations to the program for facilities and improvement and all that, and all comers are welcome, right?
Absolutely, yeah. There's two ways. We talk a lot about it. There's two ways that you can help Michigan State hockey, and one is through the Spartan Fund, which I'm sure a lot of people are aware of. They're great people. They raise a lot of money, and that's more for the facilities or budgetary stuff. And then there's the NIL side where you can directly help the student athletes.
Hey, Ports, how much does the correlation of us winning and the increase in donations work? Is it easier when we're winning, or has it been, since you've been here with Knights, pretty much an even keel?
Well, we didn't have a program when Adam started. We weren't doing any NIL. And then last year was kind of small. It was just a senior class that received a small amount. And then this year we were able to get money for every player on our team. And something that we're kind of proud of is that everybody on our team gets the exact same amount. So nobody's getting rich. It's not like we're we were talking hundreds of $1,000s, like, football and basketball, but everybody on our team got the same amount. And, I know now things are kind of changing with recruits where they're calling and they are having those conversations, but last year's roster and this year's roster, not one kid asked for one penny in NIL. And like Adam said, those are the kinds of kids that we want. We want kids that want to be Spartans, and then we'll take care of them. We know that this is a part of college athletics now, and we're not going to bury our head in the sand, but I don't ever see us being the highest bidder, right? I think that we have just so many other great things that Michigan State can offer, and I don't think we're going to have to be paying players to come here. I think guys are going to want to come here because they want to be good players. They want to be NHL players and get a degree from Michigan State, and we'll support them along the way, how we can.
I know when yeah, let's give some applause to that. I know that when you and I talked about it, the foreign players, non-American players, have different rules that they have to operate by, but you found a way to deal with that too.
Yeah. Tom's organization, Charitable Gifts America, has the means to pay our foreign players or distribute the money to the foreign players. Because of their visas, they're here as students and they're not allowed to make any income. But the way Tom does it with them giving back to a charity, they're able to receive the same NIL money as any of our other players. They just have to receive it in their home country's bank account, and then they have to make a donation in another country outside the U.S. But we were able to set it up so they could do that.
Now, coming up this spring, we've heard about revenue sharing. The universities have to engage in revenue sharings with all of their student athletes. That does not affect NIL at all, does it?
No, that'll be something totally separate. I don't see NIL going away, even if there is revenue sharing. I mean, the judge kind of kicked back that settlement, and we're still kind of in limbo to see where that's going to go. But I think NIL is here to stay.
One last question. What do you think the future looks like? You say it's here to stay. Is the future, is this where it's going to be, or in your opinion, is it going to morph even more?
No, I think this is where what we're gonna see. I don't think in college hockey we'll ever see the crazy numbers. I mean, you hear the quarterback at Michigan's $10 million and these kind of crazy numbers that are thrown out. I don't think we'll ever see that with college hockey. But I do think with the rule change with the CHL now that more players will be asking for it, and it'll definitely be a tool that we'll need to use going forward.
Definitely. Well, Mike Porter, thanks for coming out and giving us this NIL 101 type of course.
Thanks,
we appreciate everything you do for the Spartan program. That's Mike Porter, Director of Player Personnel for Michigan State University. Time for our Alumni Hall trivia question for the audience here at One North. The Spartans have given a Most Valuable Player award out in every season since 1952. That was just the third year that Michigan State played indoors at Dem Hall, and the first year that Amo Bassoni was here as the head coach. In all of that time, since 1952, there has only been one player who has gotten the award 4 times. Who is that player? Get your hands up. Rob has his wireless mic. He'll bring it around to you, but we want to know who that player is. I'm not seeing a lot of hands, so I'll give you a hint. He played in the mid-20 teens. How about that? A player who played in the mid-20 teens. We got a couple of hands over here, Rob. We'll bring the mic over.
Gail is first.
Gail had hers.
John Michael Lyles.
That is incorrect. Okay. That is incorrect. So we'll go on and. Yeah, we had another John Michael Lyles. Okay, we got another.
Ryan Miller?
Ryan Miller did not win. Actually, Ryan only played 3 years, so he did not win it for 4 years. Another hint, despite being the MVP 4 times, he was never a captain or an alternate captain. He played with some pretty good players. I think we got another guess. What
is it? Gaskins?
It was not John Gaskins. That was another very good guess. We got another one back in the back of the room.
Uh-oh. Is this going to be allowed if it's right?
Jake Hildebrand.
Jake Hildebrand is correct. Congratulations. That Hildy won it for all 4 years that he was here. The other clues were going to be that he was from Butler, Pennsylvania, the same hometown as my friend Chris Solari, who writes for the Detroit Free Press. He wore number 30, and he's played for 8 different professional teams, most recently for the Berlin Polar Bears, and he's won 3 league championships, 1 in the ECHL and 2 in Germany. So that's Jake Hildebrand, the answer to our Alumni Hall trivia question for this evening. Our show comes to you from One North Kitchen and Bar in Lansing. One North Kitchen and Bar offers outdoor seating when it's warm enough, curbside pickup, and don't forget all the MSU Coaches shows. Make your reservation by emailing Caleb at onenorthdining.com. We'll take another break, and we will be back with Neil Kepke and a whole lot more. The Adam Nightingale Show, powered by the IBEW NICA 665. Right after this is the Spartan Media Network.
Sometimes we're asked if you need to be a Spartan to be a member of Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. The answer is no. To be an MSU FCU member, you just need 3 things. 1, you love saving money and earning cash back. 2, you have a passion for supporting your community, just like we do. 3, when it comes to your future, you prefer to dream big. If this sounds like you, visit msufcu.org to get started. Of course, if you want to cheer on MSU, we're totally on board with that too. Go green.
The Shaheen Red Tag sale starts now
with 0% financing. Year-end incentives include $2,024 off Tahoes and Suburbans or $1,000 off Colorados.
Drive home a winter-ready 24 Silverado for $197 a month.
Or a 25 Equinox for $264 a month.
Get the stylish tracks for just $235 a month.
Jingle all the way to 632 American Road in Lansing or ShaheenChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little, but thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Chestnuts.
Back live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back for more of the Adam Nightingale Show, brought to you by or powered by the IBEW NICA 665. We are joined now by Neil Kepke, but before we get to Neil, it is time for our memorable moment of the night.
So we're going to go back just about 39 years ago.
Okay.
We're going to go December 14th and December 15th of 1985. The Spartans were playing Ohio State. On the Friday night game on the 14th, how about this? Mike Donnelly, he scored 5 goals in one game. That's not for the series. That's in one game, and it included the game-winning overtime goal for the 6-5 win over the Buckeyes. The next night, on Saturday, well, he just got a hat trick against the Buckeyes. So he had 8 goals over the whole weekend. That stands as a Spartan record. It's 5 goals in one game. That's still a Spartan record. But there were also 3 guys that got 5 goals. Never at Munn, but Bob Doyle had 5 against Ohio University. That was in 1961 in a game where the Spartans won 14-1. Don Thompson scored 5 in a 7-1 win at Michigan in 1970. And then no surprise with this guy, Tom Ross, he got 5. November 10th, 1973. It was a 9-5 win over, at the time, number 2 Notre Dame at Dem Hall. That's our memorable moment.
And you chose that just because of our guest, Neil Kepke.
Neil Kepke, yeah. You know, real quick before Neil starts, I had a quick little check-in at Sparrow today. And my nurse over here, Melissa, all of a sudden is at the show. She's like, well, I kind of know you. I've been going to Spartan hockey basically forever. And then her son, the Scott's here, and I was talking to him between the break, and Neil, he said, I really like Neil Koepke. I'm kind of like him a little bit. He's going into the same field as you, Neil, so you're going to have to meet him after the show here.
Nice.
All right. Right back there in the back of the room. Well, Neil, we're almost to the midway point of the college hockey season. We're the end of the first semester. So it's time to start handicapping the race for the Hobey Baker Award. What players are at the top of your list?
Well, there's a bunch of players out there that are potentially Hobey Baker finalists, the 10. And fortunately this year, one of them is actually a Spartan, as you probably know. Trey Augustine is getting all this attention for the media throughout the country. You listen to the broadcast, and the first thing they say is, not only is Trey Augustine the best goalie in the Big Ten, but he may be the best goalie in college hockey. And that's pretty great praise for a sophomore who's come on strong. Obviously, he's got a lot of attention being drafted by the Red Wings. And whether it's a Canadian broadcaster or analyst or a prospect person, they're talking about Trey Augustine. So that would be great. Trey right now is 11-2-1 with a 1.98 goals against average and a .930 save percentage. And certainly one of the main reasons the Spartans are now number one in both polls. Augustine will be Michigan State's first Hobey Baker finalist since Taro Hirose was nominated in 2019. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, Michigan State's had two players win the Hobey Baker, and that would be the Millers, the Kip Miller and Ryan Miller. However, there should have been a third, and that should have been Mike Donnelly, who scored 59 goals and 5 goals in the game against Ohio State that got beat up by Scott Fusco. And Spartan fans still to this day say that was the biggest cheat they've ever seen, and they still consider Mike Donnelly the Hobey Baker finalist and winner, not just a finalist.
How could he not have been?
He couldn't have been.
Yeah, exactly. It does look like it could be anybody's award to win. What might some of the dark horses in this race be?
The dark horses are like a player, like, say, a couple of Minnesota players that aren't named Snuggerud, because I think Snuggerud is going to be the guy that they go to as a Hobey Baker finalist. He's the heart and soul of that team. And he actually could have signed with the St. Louis Blues last year after their season, but he decided he needed one more year of college hockey to help him when he goes to the NHL. So he really is playing well, but Minnesota has so many other guys out there. I mean, they've got, well, we saw him this past weekend, Brody Lamb,
real good player.
Matthew Wood, Connor Kurth. And then I would think that if Ike Howard of the Spartans continues to be on this roll and has an electrifying second half of the season, he may get consideration. Now, there's so many forwards out there, but still, it's great that there are maybe 2 players from the Spartans now that are getting the considerations nationally. Again, go back to goalies for a second. There's a couple of them out there. Jacob Fowler from Boston College, who served as Augustine's backup last year in the World Junior Championships. He's having a great season too right now. He's 11-2-1 with a 1.73 goals against average and a .933 save percentage. Now, while Augustine has been noted for some great saves in shootouts and also in overtime, Mr. Fowler's most noted for, besides stopping the puck, of a suspension he got in a game against, I believe it was,
who was that
against? New Hampshire or at a game where a guy slid into him.
UConn. It was UConn.
Connecticut. And that's the game they lost.
Yeah.
He slid into him and they went to the corner and he was so mad. He reached out, took his blocker and punched the guy in the face, even though he had a mask on, but he got a 1-game suspension for it. So now everybody, when they talk about this goalie, they say, great goalie, but wow, don't cross him.
Yeah.
Don't slide into him.
I guess, Neil, too, that morning, Brent Darnell worked with the goalies and kind of got him riled up, is what I've heard.
Well, there you go. Let's blame it on Brent.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the inside scoop right there.
Yep.
Hey, Neil, I'm curious, in your opinion, right now, which would you say is the toughest league in college hockey? You got the Big Ten. I think we have 4 in the top 15. You got Hockey East with BC and Providence and Maine, and you got the NCHC with Denver, CC, Western. Night in and night out, what would you say is the toughest league to play in?
Well, it's every league says we're the best, right?
Exactly.
You listen to an NCHC game, Hockey East, nobody does it better, Big Ten, whatever. I think the NCHC right now really is one of the toughest leagues. And every league seems to have 4 teams that are good. And they also have 2 or 3 teams at the bottom that you could say, well, these guys are weak sisters. So the NCHC and then the Big Ten and Hockey East. But we'll see when it comes. I think this is true, though, that in head-to-head competition, the Big Ten leads in non-conference games.
Yep.
And it's by a distinct margin, too, I think. So the Big Ten. Now,
I think that's your answer, Neil.
There's some surprises. Ohio State was a surprise. They're picked for 6th place in the preseason polls, the coaches poll. And guess where they're at? They're 10-4-1. And then again, when you got Notre Dame and Penn State, they're at the bottom, and they're a surprise too. So, but again, going back to the NCHC, Woody, Western Michigan is ranked, I think, 5th or 6th in the country. And they, in the NCHC coaches poll, were ranked 6th. So that's a big surprise. It's probably not a big surprise to Knights and myself because we think the Pat Firschweiler coach does a great job, and they're always good. And they've been good the past couple of years. So where that number 6 ranking came, I don't know, but that would be. But going back to the Hobie for a second.
Neil, we got to take a quick break before we go back to the Hobie for a second. Spartan fans, if you live, work, or go to school in the state of Michigan, you can join MSU Federal Credit Union, save money, and carry the only colors in your wallet. That's MSU Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of Spartan Athletics. We are live with the head coach of the Spartans, Adam Nightingale. Tonight's show presented by IBEW NICA 665. You're listening to the Adam Nightingale Show.
The U.S. is experiencing the worst blood shortage we've seen in 20 years. Give blood this season, and you can help save up to 3 lives each time. Join me and Abbott so we can save more lives together. Let's make Spartan Nation the #1 blood donor in the Big Ten.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Training program or EV.
The U.S. is experiencing the worst blood shortage we've seen in 20 years. Give blood this season, and you can help save up to 3 lives each time. Join me and Abbott so we can save more lives together. Let's make Spartan Nation the #1 blood donor in the Big Ten.
Rocket Mortgage lets you borrow from your home without impacting your current mortgage rate. You could pay off high-interest credit card debt, remodel the kitchen, or even help cover your kids' college tuition. The investment you already made in your home can help you invest in your future. Explore your options with an expert today. Call 1-800-4ROCKET or visit financeyourdreams.com. Call 1-800-4ROCKET for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
When you're a foster parent, you play a lot of roles.
Provider, giving a foster child a safe home, healthy meals, and hope.
You're always there.
You're a cheerleader.
Your family. You would do anything for a child in your care.
Every day is different. Every need is different. But one of the most impactful roles you can play in life is being a foster parent. See why at michigan.gov/hope for a home. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you what.
Back live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Adam Nightingale Show, powered by IBEW NICA 665. Whether your move is across town or across the nation, the Munn team can help. That's Jan and John Munn, serving buyers and sellers since 1985. They're realtors who get results. We're here with Neil Kepke talking about Hobie candidates. You had a couple more on.
A couple more in passing. The one guy that might be the favorite, and it's Ryan Leonard of Boston College, and his line mate Gabe Perreault. They've been lightening up, and every time you watch a BC game, if the winning goal or the tying goal or a key goal, it seems to be Ryan Leonard. Ryan has 5 game-winning goals and none on the power play, and he's just a dynamic player. He's only a sophomore, and he's been drafted in the first round of the NHL. Perreault, same way. So they may wipe each other out a little bit in terms of getting nominated. Another one that will be nominated, I think for sure, will be defenseman Z Bumum of Denver, who's also a sophomore. He actually was an All-America last year, first team as a freshman. And this year, 4 goals, 16 assists. He's considered one of the best defensemen in the game. Another one, Mike, in consideration, is Sam Renzel of Minnesota. As we saw this weekend as a sophomore, he dominates the play. He's only a sophomore. Again, another first-round pick by Chicago, 25th overall. So I think those two guys are getting a lot of consideration. And
Neil, we got to leave it there.
Okay.
We got to leave it there because we're running out of time. We'll be back with more of the Adam Nightingale Show, powered by IBEW NECA 665, after this on the Spartan Media Network.
With full electrification of our communities on the horizon, the electrical construction industry is rapidly growing. As an IBEW apprentice, you earn a living wage while you learn, graduate debt-free, and start a great career with excellent wages, family health care, and retirement benefits. IBEW 665 and the National Electrical Contractors Association are the leaders in training the next generation of electricians. The future is electric. Learn more at IBEWNECA665.org.
Sometimes we're asked if you need to be a Spartan to be a member of Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. The answer is no. To be an MSU FCU member, you just need 3 things. 1, you love saving money and earning cash back. 2, you have a passion for supporting your community, just like we do. 3, when it comes to your future, you prefer to dream big. If this sounds like you, visit msufcu.org to get started. Of course, if you want to cheer on MSU, we're totally on board with that too. Go green.
Skill is a game changer. And when the doctors you know and trust team up with one of the nation's top health systems, the possibilities are endless. Sparrow is now University of Michigan Health Sparrow. So together, we can bring more specialized expertise, more of the latest treatments, and more of the best possible care closer to you. Discover what's possible at uofmhealthsparrow.org.
Hey, got one more, Labatt?
Yeah, here you go.
Yo, got one more?
Sure. Who are you?
Have any more?
I'll take one.
Got another Labatt?
Got one more? How did you all get in my house?
Dude, door was open. Heard you had some Labatt.
Yeah, in the fridge.
Crack some Labatt, make some friends, and see where it takes you. Enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company Limited.
Back live in 3, 2, 1.
We are back with more of the Adam Nightingale Show, powered by IBEW NECA 665. Next action for the Spartans will be on December 29th and 30th in the Great Lakes Invitational in Grand Rapids. Our next show will be in 3 weeks on Tuesday, January 7th, maybe in East Lansing. Stay tuned. We'll pass that along. Thanks to Coach. Thanks to Woody. Thanks to Dalton Shetler on the video, Mike Porter, Neil Kepke, everybody here at One North and listening all the way around the world. Have a wonderful and peaceful holiday season. And as always, go green.
You've been listening to the Adam Nightingale Show on the Spartan Media Network from Playfly Sports, powered by the IBEW NECA 665. Learn more at IBEWNECA665.org. The Adam Nightingale Show has also been brought to you by Shaheen Chevrolet, offering the largest inventory of new Chevys and pre-owned vehicles in Lansing. Buy, lease, trade in, or sell us your vehicle at ShaheenChevrolet.com. Relax and enjoy the Shaheen difference. Dean Trailways, the official ground transportation provider of Spartan Athletics. Make Dean Trailways your favorite ride. Meyer, the official grocer of Michigan State Athletics. Labatt, crack some Labatt and see where it takes you. One North Kitchen and Bar, making good times great. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Raise hope and foster dreams. Start your journey to becoming a foster parent today at michigan.gov/hope for a home. Coors Light, Mountain Cold Refreshment. Choose chill. The MSU Federal Credit Union. Spartan fans dream big with MSU Federal Credit Union. The Munn Team. Jan and John Munn at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Tommy Raines Realtors. Realtors that get results. And by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense. The Adam Nightingale Show has been a presentation of Playfly Sports in partnership with Michigan State Athletics. All rights reserved. Join us next time right here on the Spartan Media Network.